Hey guys, Bradley here from Aces. We got our Joker system all laid out here on the table. Pretty sweet tunnel ram intake for the truck behind me, the small block Chevy, and we wanted to just go ahead and show you what comes in the kit. So, like I said, we've got our tunnel ram intake here. We went ahead and put the throttle body on there and got it all ready to go. We've got our EV6 36 pound an hour injectors. We went ahead and got the water neck on there. Everything's good to go. This intake actually comes with, and I just wanted to point this out, it actually comes with intake gaskets that are really nice, and the little crossover pieces here. So thought that was pretty cool. Now, as far as the Joker system goes, what comes in the box, you're going to get the ECU here, and you'll notice it's a little bit bigger. It does have the built-in CDI ignition, and this is the multi-port system. So same size ECU as it would be for the Royal Flush, but this is the multi-port for the Joker. So now we got our main harness here. Standard 4 wires, just like all of our other systems. One thing to point out on this though, you might be asking, like, why would you want to run a multi-port system? Well, for starters, this tunnel ram intake is pretty sweet, and I'm super excited to put it on the truck and see how it looks. But if you want the best tunability, the best drivability that you're going to get in any EFI system on your classic vehicle, multi-port's the way to go, because you've got dual wideband O2 sensors. So a lot of other companies, they run one O2 sensor on even LS swaps, and we bring the dual wideband capabilities to your classic engine. So this is a pretty sweet setup. So you get your sensor harnesses here, and these are sub harnesses, and there's going to be a difference on these, and the only difference is just going to be the map plug. So if you're running a 3-bar or a 1-bar, we've got our 3-bar in here. You get your additional wiring harness as you do in other systems, and this has a little bit more features because of the built-in CDI box. You get your rev limiter, your launch control, all the fun stuff that you want, right? And it does come with an extension for your distributor, and I like having these in the kits because it just makes it a little bit user friendly when you're installing your harness. So like I was saying before, it does come with dual wideband capability, so you get 2 O2 sensors in the box. These are Bosch 4.9 LSU wideband sensors. Very good. So on the system like this, you would be running a Hall effect distributor. And as we've said in previous videos, the Hall effect distributor is a lot more precise just with the signal that it puts out, the square 12 volt signal. And I'm super excited to run this on the truck as well. Additionally, you get your handheld, and you have the option to upgrade to a Pro Dash. We're just using the standard 5-inch handheld for this video. Now, this doesn't come in the kit, but we wanted to include it in this segment of the video because we are going to be running it in this configuration. But we're going to be running the PDM with this, and we're going to go through kind of how we have it on the truck, the way we have it run, tucked in there nice. But I just wanted to mention we are going to be running the PDM. This truck also has a 4L80E transmission in it, so we're going to be running the quick draw as well. So you'll get to see a little bit of everything. We're going to be focusing on the Joker in this video, but this truck does have a couple more of our components on it. So that's what you get in the box, and you will have to install this or put it all together, but we just wanted to show you guys what it looks like put together, because I think it looks pretty sweet. So we're going to go ahead and put the intake on here and get the harness all modified for this right here. So we're going to take the relays and the fuses out. If you guys want to have some more information on that, I'll get the media guys to put a link up here. Tim made some awesome videos on the diagrams and where things go on this. But yeah, we're going to get to that, and we'll catch back up with you guys in the engine bay. All right, so over here in the engine bay of the truck, and as you can see, we've already got our ECU mounted in a good location. We made sure that the hood hinge wouldn't get in the way or anything. We've started our mock-up on the harness itself. We got the loom peeled back, and we're looking at our placement for the PDM itself and kind of where everything's going to line up and making sure we've got enough length. So that's one thing I like to do before I hard mount everything, is just make sure the routing is going to be nice and clean and I've got enough length for the sensors and all those things. And of course, we got the intake off, so we went ahead and took the old intake off, got everything cleaned up, and we'll be ready to go ahead and throw this on there. Another thing I wanted to point out while we're just in the engine bay going over everything is we took the flex fan off and took the big ugly fan shroud out of here and put some dual electric fans on out of that car there, the Challenger. So we'll be running dual fans on this setup, and we'll go through how it goes with the system and everything. And who knows, we might see what else fits in here out of that car. I don't know. But yeah, that's where we're at with it right now. And we're going to go through integrating this with the PDM, running everything nice and clean, going through the wizard, stuff like that. But we're going to go ahead and slap this intake on here and get after it. All right, guys, so we're back in the engine bay. We got the intake put on. You guys just saw the time lapse of that. It went pretty smooth. We had to take the valve covers off just to get our clearances. And as you saw in there, we used a little bit of RTV. It was just to kind of keep it in place as we were installing it and make it a little bit easier so we didn't have to worry about the gaskets moving as we were putting the intake on there. But this thing looks pretty sweet. I'm super excited for this thing. So we got the intake on, all that's good. We went ahead and off camera, I modified the harness for this PDM. So we've already got, like I said earlier, we've got our ECU mounted. It's nice. The PDM's over here, and then we got our quick draw harness over here. So like I was saying, we went ahead and checked our links and everything with our wire routing before mounting the ECU to make sure that we had the proper links that we needed for the injectors, the sensors, the coil mounting, keeping all that in mind when we pick a location for the ECU to go. So there's the intake, there's the ECU. We're going to go ahead and work on the wiring with the PDM, get our O2 sensors done, and hook up all of the stuff for the intake. So we'll have our sensor sub harness, our injector sub harness, and we'll catch back up with you guys once we get done with that. All right, guys, so just checking in with y'all. We've made some progress on the harness. We've got our power for our ignition and our fuel pump run on the PDM. We've got it loomed up back here. We went ahead and tucked away some of the harness for the injectors and the sensors just to
kind of get an idea of where everything's going to be run. Still got to drop the distributor in and get that going and put some coolant in it, get the fans and the water pump and all that stuff taken care of. And then we're going to move on to the quick draw, and we're actually going to be updating the harness on it. So as you can see, well, you probably can't see where you're at right now, but there is a older purple plug, and once we get it out, we'll put it on the table and go over it, just some of the differences. But we're going to update to the newest quick draw harness for that. But yeah, we're making some progress on it. This tunnel ram, like I said a million times, looks pretty sweet. So one thing I was considering when running the fuel rails is just making sure that this was going to work, the heater hose. So we took an extra relay out of here since we're using the PDM, so we don't have the additional relay that was on here for the fuel pump, so it's just running directly to it. And we will be changing the fuel system to a bypass return style, so we can just have one fuel line going in there and clean up real nice. So that's where we're at. That's what we got left, and we'll get back at it.
All right, guys, so like we were saying, we had a few things to take care of on here. We went ahead and got the distributor dropped in. We got our coil mounted, and we've got all of our coolant and things like that taken care of. And we also went ahead and did our quick draw harness, did the updated harness. One thing I wanted to point out, since we are running the PDM on this particular application, is when you have your one switch 12 volt in, you get 3 outputs. So I actually was able to just use ignition switch 3 for the quick draw, so that was pretty neat. So all in all, this was a pretty smooth install. I think the biggest task was really just figuring out where everything was at, as you do with any install. So let's go ahead and run the wizard on the handheld and show you guys what that looks like, since we are running 2 systems together, and we'll start it up. Alright, so we got it powered up here. We're just going to go ahead and run through the wizard on here for the Joker. I'm going to do lambda. We're going to do a mild cam. This is a Chevy engine. I'm going to do custom 3-bar. We've got our 1041 in there. 1 wideband sensor. So this truck was on a kill shot before, so we just stuck with the 102 sensor. 35 pound an hour, 36, 350. Yes. Alright. Alright, so now that we've got our wizard run on the Joker, we need to go ahead and go to System Select and run the wizard for our quick draw. So we have our can splitter in there, so it's just 2 to 1, so you can run either or on here with the single handheld instead of running 2 separate handhelds. Yes. We're running a 4L80. We're going to do from can, so it's going to take the data that it's getting from the Joker and input it through the CAN network. Same with the TPS. We'll just do a 1D table for now. 8 cylinders. Yes. Alright, so we just ran the wizard on the quick draw and the Joker. So we're going to go ahead and start it up and just check for fuel leaks, make sure all the temperatures, stuff like that's looking good. So we're going to go ahead and start it. So we're just going to let it warm up a little bit and check our fuel trims and things like that. I don't see any fuel leaks or any coolant leaks anywhere, so we're looking good on that. Alright guys, so we just did our first startup on the Joker C10. Verified we got good fuel pressure, no leaks anywhere, so we're looking good there. So we are going to go ahead and take a drive and get this thing dialed in. This was the install video for the Joker. If you have any questions, just call in to customer service and they can get you taken care of. They'll pop a picture up right here of it on the website. But I hope this helped you guys have a little bit better idea of what it takes to do a Joker install on a small block Chevy. Thanks, guys.